Right, here we go. I'm rebuilding Morecambe. Yeah, you heard that right. From the National League all the way to Premier League winners. No big budgets, no big names, just pure grind. This is going to take multiple promotions, smart signings, and probably a few emotional breakdowns along the way. And we're not stopping there. I want to win the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup. I want to win everything. It's a massive challenge, and honestly, it's not supposed to work, but that's exactly why we're doing it. If you love a proper footballing journey, good tactics, good signings, and well, a good rebuild, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And as always, come and watch me live do these, twitch.tv/Josh Daly in the description below and on the screen. Let's take Morecambe from here to there. So then, Morecambe in the Vanarama National League. This is going to be a big rebuild that I do not know how long, how many seasons this is going to take, but it is going to be a big boy rebuild. Now, multiple things that are going to make this interesting because, first of all, we're in the Vanarama National League. We have got to get several promotions to even get our way to the Premier League, and until we get to the Premier League, we can't actually complete this video's objective, that is winning the actual Premier League trophy. So, a lot to do before we can even start to attempt to take on the challenge of this video. Something that could spice this video up as well is the owners are actually willing to listen to offers. So there is a chance we get new owners come in who maybe have better money, more finance to spread along the team. Now, as a club, they have won two things: one Conference League Cup and one English FA Trophy, but nothing really too much to their name. So we're going to try and get the job done. Now, in terms of where we are as a club, 2-star reputation, 2-star training, 2-star youth, and 4.5-star silver youth recruitment. Not many social media followers as well. We are essentially quite a small club compared to some of the names that have been on this channel. Now, prediction-wise, we are predicted to finish in 18th place. So the Vanarama National League is going to be, apparently, a bit of a tricky one. So we're going to see what we can do. Now, I'll be honest with you, the main aim for me in this first season is not to worry about the FA Cup or the FA Trophy. I'm not too fussed about them, to be honest. Now, if they come naturally, I'll take them, of course, and be very happy that we have achieved something. But the main aim is to get these promotions done as quickly as we can so we can really start that journey, because it's going to take years to get to the Premier League, and then you've got a few years settling in to the Premier League. And to be honest, by the time we get to a real competitive state in the Premier League, I'm hoping to have a lot of new gens in the team. Now, the team on paper we'll look at in a second because we don't know too many players, you know, off the top of my head. Money-wise, debts and loans, we have got nothing, but we have also got essentially no money to spend. So good, we've got no debt, but also not great because we've got no money to go and spend. So it is going to be a tight-knit budget for the first coming seasons. Now, in terms of the staff and things like that, we are going to try and sign as many staff as we can, but again, limited funding does not make up for easy playing experience at the end of the day. You can't go and sign loads of people. You can see we're missing 3 coaches. We've got no set piece coach. We've got no head performance analyst. Our recruitment team is utterly shocking. Our medical team is probably one of the strongest looking out of the batches we've got here. So it's going to be a big project, this is what I'm trying to say. Now, in terms of the tactic, we are going to roll out a positive 4-2-3-1. Yes, it is a 4-2-3-1 because it is a big task today, and I want to play a balanced formation to try and get the job done. Again, at any part of this video you want to get all of these perks that will include the rebuild file and the tactic, you can come and check out the Patreon this month where there still is 30% off, and make sure you are coming on over because there is over 200 tactics and 80 rebuild files, and every video you're watching is also ad-free over there. But this tactic is basically very basic, very user-friendly, so we are going pretty much meta-based for this video. Now, it's not a tactic I've tested before, so it's not one that I know will work with this team, so we're not gone full out, you know, sweaty. We are loading in a fresh tactic and seeing what can happen, but I have deployed a 4-2-3-1 purely to try and get this job done. Now, I do not know a single player in this 11, so I'm not going to click on anyone and pretend that, look guys, I know this guy from this season, he done this, he done that. I'm going to be honest to you and say I have not got a single piece of knowledge on any of these players, and I think it's always great to be honest. So we're going to go into season 1 with literally no expectations in the cups. In the league, at least push for it. At least try and put a season on the board that will impress me. So Q Season 1, let's get into it. Although we're not too fussed about getting there, we did get to the FA Trophy final, and I thought, you know what, we'll show you what happened, because it actually was a really good final from us. I mean, a great start to the second half after a boring first half to go 1-0 up in 54 minutes, and we actually go on to win this final 2-0. So we are going to walk away with a bare minimum of one trophy from this season, but of course, despite having a good final performance, I care about the league. Sadly, well, I say sadly, we don't get automatically promoted, but we do make it through to the playoffs, and in the first round we are going to win 3-0, so I mean, we are looking quite strong in the playoffs, that has to be said. When it comes to actually the semi-final, we do play Forest Green, which I was a little bit worried about, but we're going in to a playoff final in Season 1 against a team in York that look very much in form, a 4-0 thumping over Southend. Let's try and get this job done. It appears that we are going to be having another season in the Vanarama National League, because sadly they get 2 penalties and score both, and we create nothing. So that is right, we are having 2 seasons in the Vanarama National League at bare minimum, as we lose 2-0 to York in the final. So already the video is going down a very slippy path. Now, the FA Cup, we get knocked out in the second round by Wigan, not really too fussed about that. The FA Trophy, I'm not going to celebrate and go all crazy about, because if we would have won the Vanarama National League as well, or got promoted, that would have felt a lot nicer, but I can't fully celebrate an FA Trophy at the end of the day. Now, in terms of the players and actually what happened, I will go over and say right now that the squad is looking reasonably small, because we have got players leaving as well. The front four done their thing, man. I mean, 19 and 13, 15 and 11, 17 and 13, 37 and 6. You know, we have got a lot of players. You can see we actually need to bring in a left back, because we have got some Martin Little guy in there who's not even actually a player. So we have got to sign a lot of players to actually try and, let's just say, secure guaranteed promotion next season. When you factor in the squad as well, we are going to have a lot of short contracts. So the money that we've got, God knows how much we've actually got. We've got 1.7 million, which actually is not too bad. 1.5 really. We're going to spend a bit of that on the actual contracts, and then we've also got to try and strengthen this team. So for a first season, I've definitely seen worse. It's a little bit of a heartbreaking time that we didn't get the promotion, because if we would have done, that FA Trophy would have felt so much better. But let's get into Season 2, keep the head high, and let's just try and get out of this Vanarama stage. Get into the Sky Bets. That's what we're after. And we have made some signings. Now, although he's not really rated in real life, this guy will cook in the Vanarama League. He comes in on the free, Patrick Bamford. Now, he scores 15 goals, picks up 4 assists as well, drops a good average rating, and yes, I know he's 33. You've got to remember, we're trying to get out of a very low tier of football right now, and someone like Bamford, who's played for Leeds, Middlesbrough, Burnley, Chelsea, Palace, Norwich, he can score goals. And this was actually a signing which surprised me. We even got him. He actually comes in on the free towards the end of last year, where he didn't get to play a game. This year, he did get to play a game. 9 goals and 12 assists. And just seeing that surname in the Vanarama National League will petrify anybody we play. Now, the guy can't move. He is very, very slow. But passing range, corners, just basically the passing, the corners, the set pieces, the dribbling, all of that stuff, he will dominate this league. So him and Bamford alone are brilliant. Factor in another free signing in Stefano Sensi. He is going to come in as a very good midfield player again. He picks up 5 goal contributions. Yes, we're going to see a lot of older players come in, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of these players will not be here forever. They'll be here just to get the job done, get to Sky Bet League 2, maybe play in that season, then they'll move on. But for now, it's just about getting numbers into the team. And let me tell you something now. We've got a lot more players coming in on the free. Also pick up Joe Ward. Yes, Joe Ward, that man himself. 31 years of age, just a bit of a decent right back, to be honest, for this level of football. 19 appearances, 5 goal contributions. He's on 1.6k a week. I personally went with the free agent route of putting all the money into the wages, and that is what got players through the door. As we also pick up Ashley Fletcher as a backup striker, who, to be fair to him, chipped in with 3 goals and also an assist. And again, 2.9k a week. That's actually quite a fair bit for this level of football. But when you put over £1 million into wages, you can afford to pay it out. We also pick up this lad who really did impress me. Now, he can play in 4 positions. That is going to be Michael Nwendi. Now, he comes in, 19 goal contributions, comes in on the free again. He's got a decent value now as well, loads of pros. He has got a few cons as a player, but he is rapid, and having this guy run at you at this level of football is a nightmare. Paul Smith also comes in, a 29-year-old Northern Irish winger. He comes in on the free, 14 and 15, so significantly influential in this season. And looking at the stats that we've got from these players and the names that we're bringing in, I know that sounds crazy when I say Paul Smith, but very big names for my club. I think we're going to get promoted, whether it's done automatically or through playoffs. I don't see a way this doesn't happen. And we actually finish off this window with one last signing in Will Forrester, a very good centre-back, 38 appearances, drops a 7 average rating, and just looking at him, probably one of our better centre-backs, and it completes a very strong transfer window. I mean, a lot of players coming in who are probably playing a couple of leagues down in terms of their overall quality. So if we don't get promoted, I'll say I've failed. We are going to be in another FA Trophy final, and I'm going to show you the highlights because a very important man got the winner here, none other than Haggy. What an entry to the club. FA Cup, we do lose 7-3 to Everton. Again, not concerned in the slightest because, you know, we're still in the Vanarama League. We've not got a team that can compete with a team like Everton, who obviously find themselves 9th in the Premier League. So a very, very good season under Ruud van Nistelrooy. But we have won the Vanarama National League. So these new signings paid off big time. I mean, really, really strong performances. You can see a lot of our players up there in the assists, 2 in the goal scoring ranks as well. A really strong season. Only lose 3 games actually, winning 38 as well. As a team, we are going to boast the most amount of goals, the most shots, the most dribbles, and the fewest conceded. So, I mean, we are really a powerhouse in the Vanarama now. And of course, it's good to get it out the way. We now go up a whole league and we can focus on the future project at hand. Now, money-wise, we are going to have a budget of around about 1.7 million to take into that next window. Again, completely zero debt. But now I've got to decide, do I go down another free agent window? Do I go down a loan window where I get a lot of loan players to try and boost me up the leagues? Do I go down a more sign permanent players? And honestly, I don't know, because the free agent method, let me tell you that, it's worked very well. Bamford had a great season. Smith had a ridiculous season. We've got Songo, who is retiring. He's actually a player who coming on the free last year. He's obviously retiring, which is a big loss to us personally. But all of the free signings have done really, really well. So I'm looking at this on paper and thinking, do you know what? If the opportunity arises again where I can pick up free signings, why not just go for it? I mean, the players seem to do a pretty decent job. No one's really let me down. And I'm just thinking, it's a sort of cheap way to do it. You can sell the players if you want to, or just keep them. And the only thing you've got to fork out for is the wages. And these players, the quality of these players, yes, they're probably not going to be with us in the Premier League, but you need to go through different eras to get to that Premier League. And that's what we're going through now. So let's get into the next season, a brand new league, brand new opportunity, and hopefully a set of brand new players as well to help what these players have currently done. But Patrick Bamford, what a saviour. Well, after dishing out the new contracts, the only player we brought in is going to be a 40-year-old goalkeeper who come in on the free, who kept 13 clean sheets, and it was an emergency signing made by me last minute because a lot of the money actually went. Now, I don't know if this was because of contracts or whatever happened, but we ended up having around about 300,000 in our transfer budget. Luckily, we could get this guy on the free, but he has literally played a season and then retired. So I've got my worries about this league because we have signed one player. The Bristol Street Motors Trophy, of course, our first time playing in it, does not end too well. In the Northern Section third round, we are going to lose 3-0 to Preston. Of course, now in the Carabao Cup as well, where sadly we are going to fall 6-2 to Aston Villa, but I mean, it's Aston Villa. In the FA Cup, we are going to lose against Middlesbrough in the 4th round. So, with every single cup instantly dealt with and not really having any good performances, or shock performances, should I say, it leaves the Sky Bet League 2, which we do somehow get promoted out of. So, that makes up for the very poor season, well, not poor season, but for the slip-up season in the Vanarama. And I point my finger again to Patrick Patrick Bamford, who is still a championship level player. So he is thriving in the Sky Bet League 2, nearly the top goal scorer. We've also got Michael here coming in with a load of goals. These two sort of rotating in between each other is working so well. Paul Smith, again, a Sky Bet League 1 player, a level above the league that we're in. We had enough talent in that team to easily win this league quite clearly, and I was hesitant about admitting that. Now, this league was not flawless. We drew 12 games. We lost 5 games, and it was close between us, Fleetwood, and Exeter as well. But at the end of the day, the job has been done, and that is a big, big statement to actually how well I prepared this team going into the next season. Now, I will actually look at the players that we have left because, you know, the likes of Bamford, for example, I think has now actually left, and that would just be him not... Oh, yes, he's on the right wing. That's a very interesting thing. I appear to be blind. Bamford on the right wing's very interesting. That would be where he's playing. 28 and 4, 23 and 16, 22 and 18, 26 and 9, 11 assists. I mean, this is brilliant to see, but as you can see, a couple players, or one player there has his future arranged in Lewis, who is not really much of a miss, and we've also got this man retiring, who again isn't much of a miss either. But a lot of these players, goalkeepers also going as well, a lot of these players, one more promotion in, so say when we get to the championship, they might decide to leave. Like, I'm looking at Haggy now, who is wanted by Al Tawone, and I'm thinking, you know, he's out of contract. Can I give him a new contract? He didn't want one earlier on in the season. A lot of these players will now think, do you know what? I've had a couple of good years here. I now want to move on and have one big journey in my career. So this is where you are going to see the rebuild potentially have another twist where these players do move on. I mean, Bamford, even if he does stay, he is also wanted by Alphatea. He might decide to leave. So a lot of these players could decide their future very, very quickly. And in terms of money, we are going to have a budget of 1.8 million to go and spend. So it's a fair chunk of change to replace any players that we need to replace. But as low league football typically states, there is still a lot of short-term contracts that I need to go and offer out. So yeah. We've got to be sensible. What I will say is, if any of these players do go, the likes of Haggy goes, I'm going to try and get at least 8 million, because that can change this entire... It can change the whole team. Right then, we instantly are going to replace the goalkeeper. Obviously, our previous keeper retired, and we have gone with a Sky Bet League 1 player, so a player that can hack this level of football. Now, he comes in for 600k, so actually our first paid signing. He keeps 15 clean sheets, so instantly, I'm quite excited to see what he has done. He's 29, so he could even stick with us for another season if I dare say, in the Sky Bet League. You know, if we are still in this league, at least we've got a goalkeeper ready. But could he play in the championship if we've done the miracle? Potentially he could. But for 600k, his value now is at somewhat of £2 million, so a very good signing. This is a very, very big signing in my opinion, because it is going to be none other than Morecambe. Now, he comes in for a total of 63k. Nearly was on the free, but they wanted a little bit of money. He scores nearly a goal a game in the Sky Bet League 1. 23 appearances, 17 goals, a great average rating as well. And he looks really strong. Got a bit of pace about him, bit of acceleration, great composure, great finishing. Can play pretty much every role up front. So if I ever want to tweak the tactic, we can make it happen. And it's the value that I like. If we ever sell him or he wants to leave, I can easily get 9 million. To pick up Reece Williams, again a player who can play at this level of football. So once again, I have prepared for the downside of if we are stuck here for a few years, we've got players that can eventually push me up. He cost me 97k, plays a lot of games, a decent average rating. Is he the world's best centre-back? Of course he isn't. But is he a solid option? Yes, he is. 115k, we pick up a player probably a little bit below the level of what we're looking for, but just adds another set of legs to the team where we desperately need them. That is midfield. He actually drops quite a good rating. Now, he has been about the block quite a fair bit his entire career in England, but I mean, he's been in the Championship, the Premier League, Southern Premier, South, Vanarama, now in Sky Bet League 1. He is more just a player to have for depth, but quite clearly become one of our best midfielders. This is a player I'm excited about. Now, we can only really get him on loan. I don't even know if we can afford to get him after, but that is going to be Samuel, coming in on loan from Bolton, where he drops a great average rating, 6 goals as well, and just looks like a rock-solid centre-back. I mean, got a bit more pace than the previous guy we signed, so they actually make up for quite a good pairing at the back. Low wage that I will say, being honest between me and you, I paid every penny of because it's the only way we could get him here. But I don't usually always like doing loan. But at this stage of a save, I'm happy to have a couple of people on loan. We also loan in this fantastic player who, to be honest with you, didn't get as much game time as what I think he deserves. Now, he plays 13 games, does pretty well in those games. He come from PSG. The guy looks ridiculously good. I mean, he's a Premier League player, so I mean, this guy should have played every game for us. Now, I'll be real with you, I don't think he's even going to be a possibility to sign. He's interested in a move, a full state of pay, a relegation. I mean, that's the sort of clauses he wants. I don't know how much it actually costs to get him in. 16 to 19 million. Yeah, we're not going to have that sort of money. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add him. Potentially, he's going to be on the shortlist anyway, but I'm going to remember that name because I might honestly revisit him. When we get back to the, into the Premier League or the Championship, I'm going to keep an eye on him because he looks really good. We've done the unthinkable and Patrick Bamford has scored 47 goals. Now, this guy is still playing, obviously, a step below his level. This guy had a ridiculous season. Now, as strikers go, I think I misjudged how good he might be. He is also now retiring, so sadly, we're not going to have him for the Championship. Now, this guy actually is a really good striker in this game. I sort of writ him off. Now, finishing-wise, first touch-wise, composure, he is like a Harry Kane sort of vibe. Yes, he's not got the pace, but he has got the finishing ability, and for Sky Bet League 1, Sky Bet League 2, Vanarama, and even the Championship, this guy will score you goals. So if you're in my situation and he becomes available, let's not forget, we didn't spend a penny on him. And he has changed the future of this club. At bare minimum, I can guarantee we've had a decent season. I don't know if we've been promoted, but when you're scoring that amount of goals, I mean, I do know I've been promoted. What am I talking about? We have been promoted. He has changed our entire future. So hats off to Bamford regarding that one. We also have Paul Smith, another player that I brought in on the free. Granted, he probably is now, this is not his maxed out limit, but this is where he's probably going to peak. But he had a staggeringly good season. A lot of players did. Our goalkeeper, second most clean sheets behind Danny Ward. We're going to go up with Notts County. We are going to see Wrexham down in 10th place as Wimbledon, Bolton, Wycombe and Leyton Orient are going to be going down. But this is a really positive season where, again, the goal scoring side is where we really thrive. Defensively, though, also rock solid. So a great season, and we are already in the Sky Bet Championship despite having a slip up in season 1 in the Vanarama. As for the rest of the cups, it is very early exits. Quarter-final exit against Charlton in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. The Carabao Cup, the first round against Leicester, literally the first stage of the cup, and the fourth round against Everton in 6-2 fashion, who are going to be down to 13th and have had a manager change, as Man City are going to win the league, who have still got Pep Guardiola, so fair play to them. But for us, Championship football, and I've got to go and see now sort of what happened in the Championship. Can we go and have a little look at the or actually type in the Sky Bet Championship? I should have done Sky Bet Championship. I want to go and have a little look. So it is going to be Leicester and Leeds that get promoted from that. The teams that are going down are Derby, Sheffield and Lincoln, but some of the names that are sort of in this bulk area here, it's got to be difficult, the Championship. So hopefully we have got some money. I hope that's not updated and I've just saved very early on and that's not our actual budget, because if it is, I'm panicking right now, because this team on paper, as you can see, we are lacking a few players right now. They done brilliantly, but we have got people retiring. Yeah, I can see 2 retiring players right away, and the team is absolutely tiny because of contract expiring, who just didn't want to stay. We need money, if not we are in trouble. Next season, let's cue it. Be sure to leave a like. Well, the first signing is going to be Tyrell Ashcroft. He is going to be a very handy man to have, purely because he's a Sky Bet Championship player. He was in need of a bit more game time, and he can play centre-back and right-back, and has got the attributes to play both of them very well, to be fair to him. Now, he comes in for 325k, plays almost every game, and drops a fantastic average rating. So, for a first signing and what he's actually achieved, I'm quite happy with what I have got here. Now, this guy doesn't boast ridiculously good crossing, but for a Championship fullback centre-back, I like what I see. 725k, we are going to pick up another goalkeeper. It doesn't hurt to have options in goal at the end of the day, and he only plays a couple of games because we have got, obviously, our previous goalkeeper, but we've now got two good options to turn to, because I have seen seasons literally get flipped 50-50. When you lose your first team goalkeeper, you have a poor backup. That's why in my rebuild you'll always see me have at least two really good goalkeepers, because I feel like I was one of them people who was quite oblivious to the fact that keepers can get injured, and it has done me over in the past, so that is why I always heavily invest in two good goalkeepers. Signing a Tunisia midfield player who again can definitely hack this side of the sort of leagues, the championship level. He actually does really well, a great average rating. Now with this guy, I brought him in for the head, for the absolute mentality, because he's got the experience, he's got great tackling, mentally he's an absolute monster. What he does lack is acceleration and pace, but he can just sit deep, win the ball back, pass the ball. He's a veteran, resolute leader, and that is what I need to try and get at least survival, but who knows, maybe even into the playoffs. 0.3 million, we pick up a new gen from Rafe Rovers, who is really exciting to look at, to be fair. He comes in for a total, as I said, of 800k, 18 appearances. He's not going to play every single game because he's 19, he's still learning football, but this guy could improve significantly. That's why I signed him, because he might be one of them players we look at in 3-4 years time when we're in the Premier League and say, he was with us from then, and I genuinely think this guy's got the assets to do that. Expensive signing is going to be Mads Andersen, coming in from Luton, of 32 years of age, an experienced centre-back. Again, experience. Not every player needs to be a new gen wonder kid. He comes in and drops 19 appearances, a very good average rating, and I paid the money because he's been playing for Luton. At the end of the day, they've been in the Championship now for a few seasons, and he's been consistent for 2-3 years. So this is what I like to call a banker signing. Very excited to get my hands on this guy in Alfie Devine, coming in from Blackburn, former Tottenham man, 650k. Doesn't have the most electrifying first season, but I know this guy can develop and he can become a leading Sky Bet Championship player. So maybe if we are in the Championship for 2 or 3 years, he can really turn into an absolute monster. When we do get to the Premier League, I'll give him a shot. Whether he can hack the Premier League, I'm not too sure, but where we are now is the Championship. That's where my eyes are. Again, very excited. Now, the only downside to signing Luke Thomas at 28, this is as good as he will become. You signed him a few years ago, he has got mad potential, but he comes in 225k, drops a pretty decent performance. He's played his entire career in England at bare minimum in the Championship level, so this guy does know what he's doing. He's a very good left back, a treat to have in the team, and just will guarantee me a solid performance, and that's what I need for my first season in the Championship. Our signing is going to be a loan signing who is probably one of our better players, but again, only plays 14 games, does incredibly well in those entire games, and is another name, like the loanee from PSG last year, that I will note down, because he's a seriously good, ambitious wonder kid who looks very good in midfield. Now, we can't sign him. Even if we won the Championship, we couldn't sign him because he's like 50 odd million. But hopefully he can just drop. He has dropped some good performances, and I'm hoping he has pushed us into a decent level in the Championship. But these names I will not forget, because I will come back for them. Well then, we are going to make it to the playoffs, and we are actually going through to the final, because we beat Norwich 3-2 over 2 legs. So a very good performance from us at, just seeing what I've seen. And I'm going to say it before I even show you the highlights. Even if we lose this final, I'm not going to be that disappointed, because to get into the top 6 in our first season, I am very happy with. In Sheffield United, who are a team that can be beaten in playoff finals. Now, apparently, I will say it might not be looking that way today, because they're going to get off to an absolutely blistering start inside of 59 minutes. But luckily, literally about 60 seconds after, we're going to get quite lucky from a set piece. We keep the ball, and that loanee player, the one that I said could change things for us, yeah, he does. He grabs the equaliser. He's on the ball again here. Into Devine. A little turn. Great on the ball here. Thomas again having a great final so far. A driven ball in. And we are going to be going up to the Premier League with 1 season in the Championship. It's right. We win the semi-final. We also are, of course, going to go on to win the final 2-1 over Sheffield. Now, we actually finished in 6th place. And we got into the playoffs by 1 goal difference. So things were incredibly tight. But I knew if I positioned this team team in the right areas, got them into the playoffs. We've got the bottle to get the job done. It was not an easy final. Sheffield remain in the Championship. Notts County, Pompey and Rotherham are going to be going down. Sunderland and Birmingham are going to be coming up with me. So you're now going to see Sunderland, Birmingham and Morecambe come up into the Premier League. That is an incredible season. It wasn't flawless. 11 draws, 12 losses. Once again, we're going to look at this man who, again, a player that we spent basically no money on, scored 23 goals in the Championship. This guy who we didn't spend a penny on, 16 and 13. These players, every player we have signed has played such a big part in this whole project so far. 2028, we are going to be getting promoted to the Premier League, and this is where the challenge can actually really begin. Now, money-wise, I'm going to look at that last because I need to see at least 30 million just to try and survive. Now, let's talk team. Let's talk players, because these players, I owe a lot to them. But a lot of these players, sadly, will not be in the team that eventually wins me a Premier League. And I've got to say that right now, because these players have done everything for me, everything for the club to get me to where we are, to get me to try and compete for a Premier League title. Now, I'm not going to go crazy and sell all of them, because there's a very good chance, depending on the budget that we're going to see very shortly, that we might go back down to the Championship for a season and I might need them again. So we are going to sign better players for the 11, but keep these as backup, and slowly, as long as we stay in the Premier League, they will be getting sold and have better backups coming in as a team sort of progresses and develops as an overall squad. But of course, the big conversation, money. 30 million? It is 30 million, it's more than that, it's 42 million pounds with practically no debt. So 42 million, I can sign hopefully 5 to 6 players. I'm quite confident, looking at this team, there are some players that I think could actually do okay in the Premier League. I look at the strikers and I think, do you know what, between them, I might not even sign a striker. I'm toying with the idea of trying to give them a chance in the Premier League. It's a shame Bamford retired, because I think he could have at least put up 10 goals on the board. But let's go into probably the most... This is the most important transfer window going into the Premier League, and see what we can do. By the way, the rest of the competitions, the Carabao Cup was not pretty. I didn't show you in too much detail because we're not really expected to do anything in them as to date. But now we're in the Premier League, we are now also having that sort of pressure of like, you're a Premier League team. You can't be slipping up to non-Premier League teams. So even the Cups now mean something. Well, the first player is going to be a striker, so I've gone back on my word instantly, and that's because this guy become available sort of right towards the end of the transfer window, and he looked too good to miss up. He's 25, great dribbling, great first touch, great finishing, great composure. Great off the ball work, great work rate, very good physically, 13 goals, 6 assists, a very good average rating. So he's come into the Premier League, and he also did play at Tottenham. So I was like, there's a reason why he's at a club like Tottenham in the first place. There is a player in there, and do you know what? I'm glad we did get him. 2.7 million, he technically is a Championship player, but he, you know, for me, he done more than enough for me. I mean, he chipped in with the goals and assists. He put 6 on the board for a relegation-favoured team. That's completely acceptable, you know. He's a player who's still relatively young. We can keep him for a few years. He's got the pace. He can put a ball in. He's got the dribbling. We're never going to find perfect players at this stage of a rebuild. We can't go out and sign Lamine Yamal, for example. But players like this just help deliver something. You know, this guy can run at players, and that's what I'm looking for. 10 million, this guy again along the same sort of lines, but appears to have done a lot better. Actually 13 goal contributions. Now he cost me 13.5 million, but is a lot more well balanced than the previous man I just showed you. Very good physically, a little not as quick, but he's a lot better when it comes to the finishing and the composure. So we have got a winger who is all about pace, 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 and a more well balanced winger who can actually chip in with the goals as well. So an essential signing. 140k, we are going to pick up another goalkeeper, because one of our goalkeepers did actually just leave on the free, and he comes in and picks up 12 clean sheets. He's a goalkeeper that actually is now our best goalkeeper and just plays every single game. Now, luckily for us, he stayed fit for every single game, but even if he didn't, as I mentioned before, we have always got a good backup just to have. So not too much pressure on the goalkeeper, and considering the price we paid of 120,000, he's now worth 19 million and already is wanted by Al Ittihad. And the last signing for 325k is just a cheap backup signing who has got a lot of potential and looks nuts. He's quick, good defending, good marking, good heading, 23 years of age. He actually plays a lot of games. Now, that wasn't really predicted to happen, but he must have been doing something right to play those games. And as long as we've not been relegated, I'm happy he got the game time. We're in an FA Cup final. That is right, an FA Cup final, not FA Trophy, FA Cup, where we are playing Newcastle, and yeah, it's not a great start to the second half as Gordon makes it 1-0, and in the 91st minute, they're going to go and wrap up this, let's just say it how it is, very easy final for them in 2-0 fashion. I mean, it's Newcastle. It's not going to happen yet. Also knock us out of another trophy in the Carabao Cup, so things aren't looking too great, are they, in terms of when we play Newcastle? Let's see what happened in the Premier League. That I will take. That makes up for a final defeat for me. A 9th place finish is absolutely incredible. Now, we have not got a single player in the stat lines, apart from 3 players in the yellow cards, where we have 3 players on 11 bookings, but that is very far above the relegation drop. It's not that far off finishing in the top 7. Wolves are going to finish in 7th. We see Brighton, Bournemouth and Leeds all going down. So that's a really good season for us. I mean, I don't think I can ask for much more. I can't ask for the top 7 football in Season 1. I was hoping we were going to finish at least in the top sort of 15. So to finish 9th was actually a really, really big improvement. And the players, despite having dropped off a little bit compared to obviously last season's stats, this man up front, 13 and 8. This man still scoring goals, 15 and 5. 13 and 7 for Redmond. I'm not being funny, even Fernandez chipped in quite a fair amount. Everyone chipped in, but we are seeing a lot less because we have not got exactly Premier League quality players in terms of winning quality players. You know, you go into the table and you go into, for example, the goals that are being scored. We're down in joint 12th, which actually this man here, joint goals of Martinelli, but we don't really have top Premier League players yet, which is completely fine. It's our first season in the Premier League, and I'm sure, yeah, there you go, we have been given a budget to go and improve because we've survived the Premier League and shown the board that, look, you invest in us, we're going to deliver. So we've got 80 million to go and spend. Let's go and have some fun because that can improve a lot of things. Signing one, and we've actually spent all £80 million on 3 players this window. The first one is going to be Ian Cotton, 34 million. That's more like it. 17 goals and also 4 assists. So we have now got 3 strikers. One of them, of course, can play left mid and right mid as well. But we have got 3 strikers in this team. This guy is by far the best. He looks aggressive. This is a guy you do not want running at you. What an absolute player. Great composure, great finishing. Thank you. From, I mean, Atletico Madrid to Morecambe. It's a lifestyle change. 21.5 million, we have got what I class now as a very good Premier League winner. Hopefully a winner, a winger. 14 acceleration, 19 agility, 16 balance, great fitness, great crossing, great dribbling, good finishing and composure, good flair, 25, can play on the left, on the right, in the middle, up front. There you go. 20 million, 16 goal contributions. What a signing. Welcome in, Ian. What a player. And lastly from Anderlecht, we have got another new gen coming in for 25.5, 6 assists, drops a 6.99, and just the dream scenario, really. Can play right back, can play left back, centre back, sorry, but also has got the pace to play as the wing back, and definitely as the centre back. Now, this guy, for me, at the age of 20, doesn't really have a weakness, but he can also improve a lot. So this will hopefully be a player that I look back on in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, whatever it takes to win a Premier League, and he's still in it because he just looks incredible. I mean, he's got the pace, he's got the crossing, he's got everything you want for a wing back, but also centre back is very gifted. You could argue maybe a little bit of better heading could be, you know, in there for a centre back, but that completes a very expensive window. A couple of players here going on the free as well, but the main talking point is the players coming in. And with them 3 signings, I just want to see either the same or progression, and I will happily take 8th. Any form of the same, 9th or 8th, 7th, whatever it is, that tells me we're on the right path. So let's go and hope we've improved, but even if we finish the same, I'm happy. And we have improved by 2 places, and that is a really, really good achievement, do you know? I mean, it's a clear progression. We've gone up 2 places in the Premier League. You know, we're not far now off the top European spots already in our 2nd season. We've also got 1 player in the player of the matches. It is going to be this man up front, who was an absolute bagsman. We can't hide that fact at all. And this is a really, really good season. Not only for the sake of the Premier League, we also get to another cup final, which sadly, we get blitzed 5-2. As Man City have gone over and signed Samu as well, who appeared to have a great season, but a very good season overall. The quarterfinals, getting knocked out by Birmingham, of course, is not ideal, as they are going to actually finish rock bottom of the Premier League. But to actually get in the top 7, to get to a Carabao Cup final, it's a really good statement for this club, and money-wise, we are going to be heavily backed again with £52 million, so we can continue to improve this team without really having to worry about the money. Now, this man up front, Cotton, 29 goal contributions. 26 from the new man on the left. On the right, we are going to see this man, who, of course, if you remember, was the striker that we brought in last season. He finally is also, not finally, but also is going to be given that chance to stay in the team. You've got Divine through the middle, who I'm given a chance to, 18 goal contributions. The bench is still in need of a big amount of improvement. The likes of this guy, where is he, Smith? He is a player that got us to the Premier League. Now he's in the Premier League, he's sort of hit his peak, so he'll probably be going quite soon. And this is what I mean by the squad overhaul, you know, it is going to happen pretty quickly. But yeah, I could not be more happy with what I'm seeing so far. We're progressing at a very good rate. We're going to have to slow down eventually. So like, when we first get into European football, for example, if we play a lot in the European stages, maybe we see a drop-off in the Premier League. That happens a lot. And eventually, we are going to have to slow down. I'll be very surprised if we go from 9th to 7th to top 6 to top 4 to 2nd to win in the Premier League. That would be the perfect progression. That very rarely happens. But let's not write that off. Cue the next season. Right. Well, do you remember when I said I remember the players that play for this club? Do you remember Ivan? Because I do. He come in on loan, he goes back to Liverpool, and he actually does play a lot of games, but they're open to sell him for his release clause of 21 million. Now, he doesn't contribute too much in terms of goals or assists, because he is playing in a deeper role where he's not really told to push up too much. But this is a player who can become a leading Premier League player and another new gen added to the team, and it's such a nice story that, you know, he helped us out so much in the Championship, and the fact he has come back now to help us go on to the next challenge, this is a good storyline. £14 million, we are going to sign a very handy player, very versatile, can play DM, CM, centre-back, left-back. Now, for us, I would say centre-back is probably the best fit, as you can see, a great average rating, because he's got a bit of pace about him, but he's got the heading, got the tackling. There are things he can improve on, but luckily for us, he can improve a lot. So, for the total of £14 million, I'll pay it time and time again, because I do believe he can improve. Last signing is going to be another semi-young midfield player in Rory Finneran, coming in from Newcastle. Again, 10 goal contributions, very versatile. I'm doing a good job this rebuild of signing players that can play 3 positions at bare minimum, just because it helps me sort of progress a little bit quicker and get depth over the entire team. This guy screams of a DLP though, you know, he's got the good passing range, good first touch, good technique on him. He's also got the pace, so if we ever want to play him as maybe like a sort of, you know, more advanced player, he can do that as well, and that completes what I think is a very good progressive window, showing that we're here not just to slow down and settle for top 7 football. I want to break into the top 6, and we'll do anything to achieve it. And yeah, we've done that. We're going to be in the top 4, and you know what? Quite comfortably, a 3-point gap over West Ham and Newcastle. Brentford, West Ham and Brighton go down. City lift the title. United shortly behind, but it's all about Morecambe now. It is all about Morecambe. We're going to see one of our players for the first time in history be in the top goal scoring ranks. It is going to be the Argentinian man on the right-hand side. We're also going to see this man with the assist, who again is the... I tell you what, we are having a great time. The Argentinians are taking over the Premier League. That is what I like to see. Champions League football in 2032 it's going to be. What a time. That would have done miracles for the money. It has done 65 million. and we've still got other competitions to show you, which include getting to a Conference League final where we are going to play Club Brugge, and we're in extra time already with Luke Thomas down the left, a ball back stick, and a 1-0 win. We've also won a European trophy. That is right, we have won a European trophy and got Champions League football. So even if we didn't finish in the top 7, we would have had Europa League football anyway. Now, this competition, we do play some easier teams, but I'm still going to say this is not an easy cup to win with a team like Morecambe with a few signings being made. You know, they're not a bad team over in Turkey. So, do you know what? I'm very happy with what we have done. The rest of the competitions, the Carabao Cup should have been another final. We lose to Wolves, which, you know, I think we can be beating. And when it comes to the FA Cup, you know, Everton they seem to knock us out of a lot of stuff, Everton. But how can I care about this? We've won the Conference League, we've got top 4 football, we've got a big budget. The expectation for this club now has gone from here to up here. They now actually expect mid-table. It was avoid relegation. How long is that now until it's actually, you know, expect European football? So we're progressing at a good rate, which is fantastic for video purpose, great for the club, but it puts a lot of pressure on. The club info is also, I can tell you what, the youth facilities have gone up, the reputation is climbing up, the finances are now rich, the owners love the club, and as an overview, that line is going up and up and up and up and up because we've won a European trophy, we've won multiple other trophies, and of course we've now got Champions League football. But with Champions League football, it becomes a pressure cooker. There's stress, you've got to have good players, you have a good squad, and there's a lot of these players in here that, let's just put it politely, I don't think we're going to get too far in the Champions League. Now, my expectation for the Champions League Season 1 is to potentially, best case scenario, round of 16. I am not going to put many resources into actually getting far in it, because obviously I want to try and win the Premier League as a main priority, and I feel like now we're in the Champions League, we might end up making the mistake of trying to do really well in that and then sacrificing the Premier League, and of course, that's not the aim of the video. So this next transfer window, I will try and improve as many positions as I can. We've proven we can hack play in a European competition, but the standard of the Conference League versus the Champions League, I think you know the difference. Well, we're going to start off with a signing that was actually pretty much arranged by the board because we had to go to him to get it done, and that's actually picking up Dennis Seaman. You need a world-class goalkeeper, especially when you're pushing for trophies like we are, and he comes in for 62 million, only keeps 7 clean sheets, and I'm going to say, I actually expect more from him. Now, that might be because our defence is still requiring improvement, but the board pretty much got that signing done, and I'm not one bit ungrateful for the signing, but I do expect better. I don't know if I'm being harsh. We also pick up Al Beliad coming in from FC Lorient. He is going to come in for 15 million, 15 goals and also 8 assists. Drops a 7.29, and again, tons of potential, already a leading Premier League player. Got the acceleration, got the fitness, got the pace, got the dribbling. The finishing is quite poor, but you can't always judge stats to what you get in game. He scored 15 goals. 27 million, we are going to pick up Gabriel, I'm going to butcher the name, so I'm going to call him Gabriel. He is going to come in as an incredibly handy player to have. Left back, centre back, and also right back, who is 23. He is close to his full potential, and if you want my honest opinion, I can see him being a forever sort of backup option when we sign our real sort of, you know, end game right back and left back. But for now, his first team, he does a really good job, and who knows, maybe he can lock in that right back position. But based off the fact that I predict we're going to be here for a few more years, I think there are going to be better new gens come on the market. But to have this guy as almost like a bit of a Fabian Delph, like a Jordan Henderson, someone, you know, who can play anywhere on the pitch, this guy is needed in every team. Another winger on the right hand side who was locked in, just to clarify, that's going to be João Vitor. He comes in for 23 million, 17 assists, and also scores 8 goals. Now, this guy can do it all, okay? Again, similar to the other players, the finishing is pretty mediocre, but we can train with him for a little bit on that, try and get him at least to 11, 12 finishing, but he's got the crossing, he's got the dribbling, he's got the technique, he's got the pace, he's got the stamina. He's just a bit of a, well, he's a winger. He's a traditional winger, a creator more than a goal scorer, which is completely fine. The Carabao Cup ends quite quickly. We actually go out quite early on into the knockouts against Liverpool. The FA Cup, again, not ideal. We lose to Sunderland, who I think we should be beating quite easily now. Our first time in the Champions League didn't end in heartbreak as I expected, because we finished 7th in the sort of league phase. We beat PSV, Real Haspalis, RB Leipzig, Marseille, Fenerbahce. We get points against Barca and Bayern, and we only lose against West Ham of all the teams that we play. So a very good performance, pushing us through to the round of 16 where we blitz Leipzig 5-2 into the quarters, where we actually get quite lucky to get to this stage, but we do beat Barcelona again on penalties, and we get through to the semis where sadly Real Madrid beat us 2-0. But I mean, that's a really strong performance in the first season, but sadly getting that far has pushed us out of the top 4. We are now going to be in the top 6. Only Europa League football is guaranteed, but it does give us that opportunity to win Conference League, Europa League, and then who knows? I'm just saying, who knows, it could happen. Interestingly, defensive work is probably our weakness this season, because this man is going to be your top goal scorer in the Premier League, and this man is going to be your top assister. So if I was a betting man, yes, we're the 8th worst at conceding, but the 3rd best at scoring. Our money of 71 million needs to go into improving that back line. As you can see, it is quite clearly the weakness. The front players are doing their job to a very, very good level. The back line is simply not good enough. Let's go and improve it. I know instantly the weakness. Signing 7.5 million. Now, I was a bit hesitant signing him because it's quite a cheap release clause, but I actually looked at him, I scouted him as well, and I don't know why Roma have not give this guy another contract, because he looks incredibly good when it comes to the technical side, great mentally, great physically. Now, he's on a fair bit of money per week, he's on 96 grand a week, but he's 24, he is close to his full potential, but he is already a star player. Now, he cost me 7.5 million, now worth 73 million, 13 goals, 6 assists, and he's also versatile. So Roma have let go of a very good player here, and I'll take him any day. A bit more expensive, £29.5 million, already wanted now by Liverpool, City and Al Ahly. He's worth 50 million. He's another midfield player. We have really strengthened the midfield tenfold now, because the back line, I wouldn't say it's necessarily awful, it's just that it's developing. You know, the players are developing. The midfield did need improving, and I've gone over and done that by bringing in players like this guy, who also chipped in a lot when it comes to the stat line. So, new attacking player in terms of midfield, a new deeper player, and there was room for one more player to come in. And that is going to be another winger, and that is going to be Cardoso Varela, a man who has 20 agility, lightning quick pace, good crossing, good dribbling, and also has the composure and the finishing. 12 goals, 8 assists for a man that has never stepped foot in England before. This guy, I like the look of, but this window, it wasn't all incoming. We do have some outgoing players, all on the free, sadly. It's going to be one of our goalkeepers, a former player who we did spend 140k on. He goes to Damak. Joe from Rangers, of course, a player who we signed for 1.3 million. Done reasonably well, but wanted to move, you know, at the end of the day, he is Scottish, probably wanted to go back and play for a big team in Scotland. We are going to lose this man to Valencia, who is 34. We could have got a bit of money for him last season, but I kept him for that season. Probably should have sold him, to be honest. But over in Valencia, the guy's absolutely cooking, so fair play. And also Roger Fernandez, who I didn't want to sell, but was insistent on leaving, does go to Real Sociedad. So we have lost a few players, but for example, we've got another winger in, we've got midfield players in, our striker situation is fine anyway, our goalkeeper situation is more than fine. So despite losing some players, we've signed 3 and we've got all the other areas covered. So let's go and see what we can do. Of course, we've got the Europa League to look forward to, the Premier League to look forward to, and maybe even get to one of the English Cup finals again, because if I'm not mistaken, we haven't won one of those yet. Well, we are going to be playing in one of them against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup final. Now, Man United have gone over and they're in the blue kit, just to clarify. They've strengthened. They're going to go 1-0 up inside of 24 minutes, and I've seen their team on paper, and they've got a lot of new gens in the mix, and they are looking pretty relentless. Amarim is long gone right now. A big mistake there from the back gives them a 2-0 lead just before half-time, and we're 2-0 down going into the second half. You know, they've got Diamande, they've got all these players, and I mean, we are now going to find ourselves going 3-0 down in 47 minutes, and When you talk about miracle comebacks in football, it's got to start somewhere, and luckily for us, we are going to grab a goal in the 71st minute with a great bit of set-piece play, really. A good finish pass for Bruggen to make it 3-1, and I was getting quite excited, to truth be told. I mean, 6 minutes after that goal in, Demeanor down the right-hand side, a great ball in, a great header as well. It stood at 3-2, but that's where it ended. Yeah, despite an attempt at a late-game comeback, whenever you start a game 3-0 down in 47 minutes, you don't deserve to win it. We didn't also win the FA Cup, West Ham too strong in the quarter-finals. But we are going to be in the Europa League, and there is one goal coming in from us. So we are going to be Europa League champions. We've now won the Europa Conference League last season, Europa League this year. There's a pattern emerging, as we also get inside the top 5, but we of course have got Champions League football because of the Europa League win in that 1-0 win over Tottenham. So we have got a chance to, I think, create history on this channel right now if we win the Conference League in last season, Europa League this season, Champions League next season. It is the perfect progression in European stages, and what an opportunity to try and make that happen. Ian Cottam up front is an absolute bagsman, by the way. 18 goals in the league, the Premier League top goal scorer. He is our only player in the stat lines, and I shouldn't even be focused on the Champions League, although it's quite hard not to be because of that storyline. We are still miles off winning the Premier League. We are so many points behind. We are 20 points behind. That is so many games. We are literally a country mile off winning the title. So this video might be a 2-hour special, to be honest. Now, in terms of the money, we are going to have a big budget because of that Europa League win, Champions League qualification. The debts and loans, there is a little bit to deal with right now, but that's because we are signing players as we do strengthen each season. And looking at the team again, we are the 3rd best at scoring, the 10th best at conceding. So once again, you could easily point the finger and say backline needs improving, but truth be told, they need time to grow. But at the same time, the likes of Luke Thomas, for example, who is now 33, he simply does need to be replaced. So it's not all they need to improve, they need to improve. We do need to strengthen as well, so let's go and make that happen. Do you remember this guy? He has had his release clause met from Real Madrid. We spent 23 million, they spent 50 million, so that makes up for all the free signings that have gone. That is a serious amount of profit, but when you talk about trying to win a Champions League and trying to win a Premier League, you don't really want to lose him. We also lose Redmond, who, to be honest with you, was probably the only player that I regret signing. He was really good in the first season, but just got worse and worse. So I'm going to put my hands up. Not the best signing. But with money to burn, especially after selling our previous player, we are going to pick up a world-class right-back. World-class equals expensive equals 58 million. 10 goal contributions and probably one of the best right-backs in the Premier League. Look at the physical attributes. There is only 2 that aren't yellow. The guy is an absolute joke. Great crossing, great decisions, great determination, great tackling. This guy is the best right back, I'm confident in saying, in the Premier League in this save. 22 million, again, another improvement to the back line. A very good centre-back, a fairly professional elite centre-back at the age of 26. A great average rating, great total appearances as well, showcasing that he can stay fit. He's not injury prone anyway, and again, big improvements to the backline. A big improvement to help the backline just a step ahead of it is a ball-winning midfield player. Diego Diaz, coming in from Bayern, 34 million, also scores 9 goals and picks up 5 assists, to be fair, and drops a 7.46. Very good on the ball, really good mentally, anticipation's good, decisions, determination, work rate, stamina, pace. He's an absolute monster. So do you know what? Despite losing a couple of big players, we've spent over £110 million. We had the money to do it anyway, especially with that player going. Let's see what we can do. The Premier League, we're miles off, but let's just try and progress. Even a 2nd place would be good. Start off in the European South American Club oh my god, Club Challenge. That is a mouthful. Wow. Basically the Happy Meal trophy. It means absolutely nothing, but it's a trophy which I will take, I guess. I mean, it probably gives us some money, and at least we didn't lose. That's pretty much the only positive. This trophy means a bit more because you can't guarantee how many times you get to play in it. We are going to win the UEFA Super Cup in the actual first time ever getting to play in it, and that was against Real Madrid. So if we can beat them in this, can we beat him in the Champions League? FA Cup, not ideal. Everton seem to be a bit of a bogey team for us. I mean, again, a quarter-final exit. You can't really write it, can you? They also knock us out of the Carabao Cup, which I'm confident in saying if we could have beaten them, we could have taken Chelsea. I believe that. Over to the Champions League, and I'm going to show you like this because we have gone invincible in the league phase, and we are meaning business. We're beating teams like Celtic, City, Sporting, Dortmund, Bayern. We're getting points against Leipzig. We are here to absolutely take over. In the round of 16, we don't blitz Bayern. We beat Bayern 2-1. We don't blitz them. Quarterfinals, we do blitz Madrid. Real Madrid, we have always been able to beat, and I don't know the exact reason why. We just absolutely batter them. Semi-finals, we batter Barcelona, and we are now playing the team that I said I could beat in a final. Oh, I've been cursed like this before. Let's play Chelsea. Right then, it's going to happen in Cardiff, this Champions League. I've never played a Champions League final in Cardiff, but, I mean, maybe I should play there more, because we are going to go 1-0 up inside of 8 minutes. Now, this Chelsea team, I've looked. They do look beatable, I'm going to be honest, but they're also not a pushover. They are going to get back into the game here from a corner, a very sort of poor corner in initially, but they get the ball back from the edge, they drive at the back line, and we just don't close them down quick enough. So it's all level going into the second half. But we have done the European... Well, we've done the European dream. We have won the Conference League, the Europa League, and the Champions League in 3 seasons. Record-breaking history from a screamer from the new DM. That is why we signed him. I don't know what we have done in the Premier League yet, but I will say we have done the European dream. Conference League, Europa League, Champions League, back to back to back. Never been done on my channel anyway before. The perfect success story in Europe. The Premier League, we have also gone and won. Now, I don't know what has caused the leap. I can only imagine it would be... The DM must be quite good who we signed, because that goal I've just seen alone, in fact, he is the best Premier League performer, so I think he has done a lot. We can also look at this man, the right back, the 2 new signings. Dennis Seaman also is going to get the most clean sheets. This guy up front has been flawless since we've signed him. He has been such a good player the entire rebuild, and we win 4 trophies on the last season, which does complete the challenge of winning Morecambe the Premier League. Now, the only thing we failed to win this entire rebuild is a Community Shield, an FA Cup, and a Carabao Cup. But we have won. I mean, we've got to go and see this, guys. We have now a 5-star reputation team. We have won Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, Super Cup, Premier League, all the Sky Bets. We have won everything you could imagine, and we have left you a fantastic team. And again, if you want to carry on this save, which I would heavily recommend because it's a really good story, you are going to have a budget of £86 million, 0 net debt as well, very minuscule transfer debt, and a team of wonder kids ready for you to take on the challenge that I'm going to set you. And the prize, if you're the first person to do it, send me a screenshot on Patreon. The winner's going to get £25 PayPal. You've got to have a PayPal account, just to make that clear. Your aim is to win a quadruple of the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, and Community Shield or Carabao Cup. But it has to include the Premier League, Champions League, and FA Cup. And you're going to have up until 2037 to make that happen. 2 people pretty much sent them in at the same time last week, so I did pay out twice. So you send them quite similar times. I'm not going to be unfair. I will dish out twice, but that is your aim. The big challenge set by me to you, but for me, it's my challenge done. I've won the Premier League in the year of 2034, so that is 11 seasons total. What a rebuild that has been. If you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Set me a new challenge in the comments because I want to be challenged, and I'll catch you in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day.